In this episode, we help a student in finding the perfect car within his 100,000 Rand budget.
Now, is it worth trading in a Volkswagen Scirocco for a Toyota RAV4 hybrid?
And we explore whether replacing parts on a car can extend its lifespan.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. I'm Adam Ford. Every week, we try to provide you with useful advice, whether it relates to buying, selling, or just maintaining your vehicle. If you have a question for the team, you can send an email to buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za and contain as much information as possible, as well as a nice picture of yourself.
And joining us in studio to help resolve those troubling automotive issues are Gugu Masuku from 2 to 4 Wheels, ZA, and GC Lukele from BMW side. Nice to see you again, GC.
Thanks for having us.
And you, Google.
Oh, thank you, Adam. Someone knows I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's get into our first question, which comes from Wesley, 23-year-old college student. He wants to buy a Citroen DS3 as a daily driver after his family previously sold one for an Audi Q5. With a budget of 100,000 Rand, he's seeking advice on this purchase and potential long-term issues. He prefers a two-door hatchback that can carry 4 passengers, but does not, I repeat, not want a Suzuki Swift or Kia Picanto.
There go you.
I think he watches the show. But anyway, just for his info, I've not seen a Suzuki Swift two-door, and neither have I seen a Kia Picanto two-door. Yeah, so, those are out immediately. What do you say, Gugu? You seeing how I left you out? And
Well, look, thanks for seeing me now, Segi.
You're welcome,
It's highly
sir, you're
appreciated.
welcome.
Look, I mean, he's running away from reliability. He's running away from trouble-free motoring. If he wants a two-door, I'd throw him into a Hyundai Tiburon. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those two-door things, that's a very nice-looking car. He could get one for like 70 grand, Don't know about reliability. You guys will be better informed to speak on the
Certainly
reliability.
better than a Citroen DS3, that's for
There you
sure.
go, yeah.
Yeah.
If he wants two-door, I was thinking Kia Cerato Coupe. He'll find a nice one in his 100K budget. Doesn't look like anything on the road. And you can
actually very
put
nice.
4 people in there quite comfortably. And that's if he wants reliability and he wants it to last a little while. But his DS3, because his family had one, and I understand why they were downgraded to a Q5. But anyway, GC, what's your take?
I couldn't agree more. So the DS3, only if it's still in the family. Once it's been sold, don't go looking for one. You're just looking for trouble. I would have gone with the Kia. I think it's a really good option. But another option as a BMW man, I have to talk about like a 1 Series Coupe, like a 120D. Yeah.
For 100 grand, a 120D.
Yeah, like a 2010. Yeah.
2010
Yeah.
wreck for 100 grand.
Wreck, man. They're cars that are well looked after. But yeah, I think the Kia also first choice. Tiburon also a good option. Yeah.
I think the problem is because he's looking for a two-door car. That's a really, there's
Narrows
so
it
few of them
down.
around.
Yeah.
I mean, you can throw in something like a Scirocco, but you won't find one in that price range.
Yes.
You mentioned the Hyundai Tiburon. They are obviously very scarce. There's not many around.
Very scarce.
Many of them around. The problem with the Tiburon I find is occasionally we get one in the workshop and it's always a problem getting spares for it because none of the dealers keep any parts for it. There's no aftermarket parts for it. So Cerato, as Sigi suggested, is a great option because you can find that in a two-door. And it's basically the same as a Hyundai Accent. And what's the other one? Elantra. So mechanically, those are the same. Body parts are just a bit of an issue. But it's most probably one of the better, more reliable cars when it comes to a two-door car.
And it looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good. I just want to let everyone know something about GC. If you're looking for a car, don't phone him and ask for him in Sandton. He'll say, "Hi, Segi. You know what? There's a line of people, about 30 people, waiting for that very same car." So
120D Coupe.
If we happen to get to you, I'll give you a call, okay? Thanks very much, GC. Hey? And here I was trying to send people your way.
All right, we're going to move on to our next question, which is from Mfanu Fikile. He lives in Durban, but works in Port Elizabeth. That's quite a drive. He wants to buy his first car to travel between the two cities during school holidays, prioritizing, of course, reliability, fuel efficiency, and safety. He's considering Suzuki Baleno, GLX, Toyota Starlet, Renault Clio, Peugeot 208, and the Mazda 2. Okay, GC, which one will be his best choice there?
This is quite predictable
Yeah.
on this show.
Yeah, no.
Suzuki Baleno.
Yeah, I mean, people say, oh, but you always recommend Suzuki.
Yeah.
But what he's given us, There's two cars there which are good. The rest don't even bother about.
Yeah, and
one is the
one's
Mazda.
automatic.
What's wrong with the Mazda?
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
he's
I
just
said
saying.
two
Okay,
cars.
This is just saying.
So it's the Mazda
Oh, the
2.
Starlet too. That's
Yeah, and the Starlet. Okay.
But that's
well,
a Suzuki Baleno
Yeah,
anyway, yes.
same.
another
Yeah.
side of the coin.
Gugu, what do you think?
I was going to put him in the Mazda. It's more upscale in terms of look and feel,
Yeah.
interior-wise. He's looking for safety features and all of that stuff. You get all of that. 6 airbags, get cruise control for when he's traveling to Port Elizabeth. I think it's a better car.
And reliability, the Mazda is...
There too.
I really don't know why. Like Adam always says, there's no marketing done.
I also think it is a little bit more of a premium brand, so it is a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
So when people look at, when it comes to a budget, you can get, let's say, a Suzuki Baleno and a Toyota Starlet and a Mazda 2. And then you look at the two and say, okay, well, I can get the Suzuki or the Toyota a little bit cheaper.
100 grand less.
And it's going to cost me, 1,000 Rand a month less. They forget about the reliability and long-term longevity of the vehicles, and they go for the one they can afford. But and there's nothing wrong with the Starlet and the Baleno. For me, I love Mazdas. I think they're one of the best cars you can buy, and they're ultra reliable and great cars. And you do get a couple of extra safety features with it than you would get in, say, a Baleno. But you're going to get more space in your Baleno. It's going to be a bit more spacious. So the thing to do here is, you're going to look at 3 cars only: the Toyota, the Suzuki, or the Mazda. Now,
What do you think was the allure of the Peugeot?
the Toyota and the Suzuki are the same car, so whichever one you prefer. The Mazda is most probably best long-term vehicle you can buy. Go and drive them and see, do you need the space? Maybe if it's just him and one suitcase, it's perfect. But if you've got friends that are going with you, maybe want a little bit more space, then the Suzuki Toyota has that option. It is a bit more spacious. But
And it's an awesome vehicle.
those 3 cars
Starlet automatic. Sorry,
Yeah.
Adam. I have to tell you this. I drove down in Cape Town when I was there on the weekend. What an awesome drive.
Yeah.
And fuel consumption, unbelievable.
Yeah, so all those 3 cars are fuel efficient, reliable, good looking, great resale value, and good value for money. The others that you mentioned are the opposite. So
Don't look at
don't look at them. All right.
Okay, stay tuned because after the break we find out if it's worth trading in a Volkswagen Scirocco for a Toyota RAV4 Hybrid.
And the VW Tiguan comes up against Mercedes-Benz GLC. Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Ryan owns a 2016 VW Scirocco with 83,000 kilometers on the clock. And he needs a bit of a more practical vehicle to accommodate his baby and Labrador. He's considering a crossover SUV priced between 400,000 to 500,000 Rand. His priorities are reliability, fuel efficiency, and long-term ownership. He's considering a second-hand RAV4 GX hybrid, but he's unsure if the fuel savings justify the premium price. He's also open to other alternatives. GC, I want to go back to you. Is it worthwhile buying a hybrid, or just buy a normal one that's...
I'm sold on hybrid. It depends on the usability. So if your daily mileage is within the range, you can in theory drive in electric mode for most of your driving.
Sure.
If you charge it up. And that RAV4 is a really good car. And I think it's well priced. Maybe just another alternative to that would be another very popular one in this show is the Toyota Cross.
Yeah.
Which is also a great car, but at a slightly lower price point. But lots of car you get with it.
Gugu, you could get a Corolla Cross brand new, or
you
a
could.
RAV4 second hand.
I'll go for the RAV4. I've driven the car. It's a lot more premium than it looks on the outside. It's just got a very, very premium feel and drive. And I think he would be able to offset that price long term through fuel savings. I think so.
Yeah, he's got to keep it for like 99 years or something before that hybrid attachment or whatever you want to call it actually is worth something, Like he can take it out and use it to drive his kids' pram and things like that. Electric pram or
Okay,
wheelchair.
now
He
that
can
the-
use it on his wheelchair.
The garbage has been talking. Let's just look at it realistically and say, I know that the hybrid RAV4 new is around about the 800 miles,
Yeah.
somewhere around 800,000. Is he going to find one in his budget? That's the next thing, because his budget is max 500. So you may struggle to find a hybrid in your budget. So then it's worthwhile just to buy a normal, 2-liter petrol version of that, which are also fairly fuel efficient. But look at the costs involved. How much is a hybrid and how much is a non-hybrid? And then say, okay, the difference is 50,000 Rand as an argument. I'm not too sure exactly what it is, but let's just say those are the two vehicles. How much fuel can you buy for 50,000 Rand? And not how much fuel can you buy for, the difference between the one's fuel consumption and the other one's fuel consumption. So the one's running at 9 litres, the other one 100, the other one's running at 8 litres to 100, that's 1 litre. How long is it going to take you to pay that 50,000 Rand back? And then you remember that maybe if it takes you a long time, maybe at some stage you may need a new battery or something for your hybrid system, which can be expensive, 25, 30,000 Rand, I think, for a RAV4, something like that. So those are the factors to consider. But I think you're looking at the absolutely right vehicle here, guys, a RAV4.
Yeah.
If you've got a growing family, very reliable car, great resale value. It's a superb car. You can't go wrong with it. It's just look around and find the right one for you, because you're looking for second-hand ones now. So go to a Toyota dealer and find a nice one.
He doesn't have to buy hybrid. He could go, like you guys said, with the Toyota Cross, or he could go look at something Korean, like a Kia Sportage or a Hyundai Tucson. All these vehicles will fit into his price bracket.
Also good cars,
second-hand, great cars. And if he buys a diesel, the consumption, the fuel efficiency is there.
I think also a point to be made with the Korean options, whether, what's the Kia?
The Sportage.
The Sportage or the Hyundai version is, if you're looking at like a slightly used one, because they don't hold as much value as the Toyota, you'll probably get
a good deal, an excellent
on like
deal.
a year-old car.
Yeah, it's a great point.
With low mileage.
Yeah, it's a great,
whereas a RAV, you'll be paying more than the guy paid for it new.
Yeah, because of the resale values, which is also good, because when you buy it, when you want to sell it in, you know, when you've just had a little kid, so when he's used it to go through varsity and you want to sell it, you still get good money for it.
I guarantee you, he ain't going to varsity in that hybrid. That battery would have blown up and set that car on fire long before.
Oh, prophet of doom. Okay.
Right, our next question is from Oyena, who currently drives a 2023 Suzuki Swift GL. He wants to upgrade to either a 2019 VW Tiguan All-Space or a 2019 Mercedes GLC 300D. Before you go any further, I must tell you that's a downgrade. He values the Tiguan's boot space and the GLC's comfort. Both cars are economical, 4-cylinder turbocharged diesels, ideal for city and long-distance driving to Margate every 2 months. With a budget of 600,000 Rand, he seeks advice on these options or similar alternatives. Gentlemen, he's driving in a 2023. I understand he wants to get something a little more fancy, but that's a downgrade. That's just my opinion. What's your opinion? And 600K is a good budget.
So my primary issue with both the options is, as you said, you've pointed out, from a 2023 car to a 2019. Immediately with your maintenance contracts that will be on the car, those cars are expiring. And all have expired.
Yeah, they would have.
So you're just buying trouble. You're going to do a lot of mileage. I wouldn't buy a GLC and then expect to do the kind of mileage he's talking about. So he's on the upper end of average mileage. So unless there's an option of something that is 2022, 2023, which, I mean, again, so if I look at with what we would offer, for example, at BMW, you could get an X320D, M Sport 850. No, not 600.
Oh, 850.
Yeah, but rather a 2022 model or 2020, I wouldn't go 29.
Yeah, because he didn't say what
Not
he's
for
going to
this.
do with the Suzuki, eh?
Yeah.
So he might use that as a trade-in.
Gugu, 600,000 Rand. Wouldn't you just rather go buy yourself a brand new car?
Well, I mean, you're asking a motoring journalist that question. I probably wouldn't. I was going to go with the X3, 20D, 2-litre D. It's a very nice car, M Sports as well. He can get it for that kind of money. And it's an economical car. That engine is just very economical. I love it.
Yeah, those two vehicles, the GLC Mercedes and the Allspace. The Tiguan I'm not a great fan of. I like it in a diesel version, but I don't like the fact that it's got a DSG gearbox. Anybody who watches the show knows that.
I was just going to tell you. Just remember the thing is, I was talking about a DSG.
So it's a 2019, so it's a 5-year-old vehicle already. If it hasn't had the gearbox failed and been repaired, it's going to happen soon. And that's a lot of money to fix those things.
Yeah.
And they'll be out of warranty, as you quite correctly said. So, 600,000 Rand, I would be looking at buying like something like a Mazda CX-5. You could get a 1-year-old version of that. It's a really good-looking car. It's all the bells and whistles. It'll come with a great warranty.
How about a Cherry?
A Cherry's another great option.
Good option.
Pro 7.
What about some of these, like the new JQ? You see, you've got the JQ J7. I think it's 500 something thousand Rand.
Yeah.
What do they call it?
580 J7.
No, they call it like the mini Range Rover. Or
Yeah.
people saying it's like
The Chinese version of the Range
Also
Rover.
or the Evoque or
HAVAL?
something.
Yeah.
You've got the HAVALs, you've got a lot of-
H6,
You can get the GT.
second-hand
the
GT you'll get.
GT's the ugliest car that's been on the market.
Most people don't agree.
Anyway, yeah, that's my opinion.
All the people that are driving it don't agree. You're right, James.
But 600,000 Rand, you could go out and buy yourself brand new cars or cars within like a year old, really good cars with good warranties.
Yeah.
You know that you're going to buy it now. You don't have to pay for maintenance for the next 2 to 3 years because it's going to be paid for. It's covered under warranty. These other cars you go and buy, you get a GLC as an argument's sake and the engine fails. I'm just using that as an example. It's over 100,000 Rand. You get a Tiguan all-space and your gearbox fails. It's 25,000 Rand plus. Now, also, when you maintain those vehicles, you need to send them in and service them.
Yeah.
You have to pay for
Cash
it.
every
You have
time.
cash for it. So if you've got 600,000 Rand budget, look for something that's as new as possible or even brand new.
Comes
There's
with all
so
its
many
warranties.
good products that you can buy out there now. And you can also, 600,000 Rand, like we said, like a JQ or Cherry or Haval, brand new, out of the box,
Fully spec'd.
fully spec'd with all the warranties and all the latest technology in it. Why would you want to go and buy something that's old? And I know why, because it's
Mercedes.
it's brand snobbery.
Yeah.
It's brand
Yeah,
snobbery, but
yeah.
it's not sensible buying.
Yes, and you're stepping down here.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Believe it. Okay. We're going to be taking a short break, but when we return, we discuss precautionary measures for a Chevy utility which has got an oil leak.
And we explore whether replacing parts on a car can extend its lifespan. Hello and thank you for tuning in to Buyer's Guide. Pila, based in Durban, owns a fully paid 2013 Chevrolet Utility 1.4 Sport with 150,000 kilometers on the clock. This was purchased in 2017 as a pre-owned vehicle with 18,000 kilometers. It has been regularly serviced at GM and Bosch without any major issues. Recently, he noticed oil drops under the engine when it's parked overnight. He seeks advice on precautionary measures and suggestions for this issue, besides visiting a repair shop. How do you expect to resolve that if you don't go to a repair shop? What I would suggest, you take some chewing gum, go under the vehicle, see where it's leaking, and just and
Gooi it.
So that's
Wait.
what you would do.
Yeah.
don't
Well,
tell everybody go.
talks from experience.
Eh? I mean, come on, you got to go
Yeah.
get it checked first.
So
Get a proper place,
hang
There's-
on, he's been to GM, he's been to some aftermarket workshops. Just take it back to the guys that's been maintaining it for
and
you.
ask them why.
You need a relationship with people. I often say to people when you're taking your car and have it serviced, try and stay with the same people, unless they're absolute rubbish. But I mean, there are a lot of good workshops out there. If you have an issue, take it back. If you create a relationship with them, when there's a problem, they're there to help you. I mean, so take it back to the last place that serviced and say, listen, I've got an oil leak. What you may find is when they changed the oil or did the service on the vehicle, maybe they...
Spilt a little.
No, maybe the oil filter's got a bit of a leak and they will replace it for you under warranty,
Or
or
the
some
sump
plug
plug is
washer's
leaking a
leaking,
little.
or there's a small leak from, oil leaks can come from a lot of places. And they'll advise you and they'll say, look, the oil is leaking from here, this is what's going to cost you to fix, and you go from there. But don't ignore it, because when you ignore things like this, they get worse and worse and worse. So instead of it being like, hang on, it's a quick fix, you drive around, you forget to check the oil, engine
then gone.
seizes, so a quick
you
fix,
know,
which was going to cost you maybe nothing, could now maybe
common-
cost you 30,
The
40,000.
common thing on this is the oil pressure switch
Yeah.
on the oil pump.
Yeah,
And that could just be there, 60
Yeah.
buck repair or 100 buck repair.
yeah. So take it along to a workshop. Don't be scared of workshops. They're there to help you. Majority
Unless
of
you're
them.
going to Adam.
Yeah. Well, I'm not here. I'm here to make money out of you. But the best way is really to take it along back to the workshop, get somebody to check it out for you. And it doesn't cost you much for them to look at it and give you an estimate of cost. Okay, now we're going to end off things with a question from Alina, who bought a Mercedes-Benz in 2015. It's a 220 GLC. Just before its maintenance plan expired, she has spent around 90,000 Rand on parts.
Could have bought another GLC.
Wow. She plans to keep the car long term, believing that timely part replacements can extend the lifespan up to 5 years. Alina emphasizes that the cost of maintenance should stay within the bounds of what she should pay on a monthly payment for a new car. She's interested in hearing our thoughts on this approach. Gugu. Yeah.
Google, do you see?
Sorry,
Whichever one.
one of you guys.
Choose one.
Okay, go. I mean, you wanted to go.
Yeah.
No, so we've just made this point with a previous issue that we spoke about, buying a premium car that's out of warranty.
Yeah, she spent 90,000 rand on parts.
And she's happy with
I'm
that
sad
figure.
to say this.
I wish I could
It's
find customers like
probably not going to end, right? It's just maintenance is maintenance. On a premium car,
Still
the
premium
maintenance is also premium.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just need to be clear on these things. And this whole thing on timely part repairs, you guys can speak more to that, but it doesn't, whatever you fix today doesn't stop what may happen tomorrow.
Yes.
And chances are it will. Let's just be honest. Rather trade in the car. If she can get a newer car that still has some kind of warranty, rather get that. If that's not possible, change the car for a different brand that won't be premium maintenance.
Gugu?
So look, I agree with what GC said here, but she is attached to the car, as she says, so that's a consideration, right?
But that's a big problem I find in the workshops. People develop sentimental attachment to a hunk of metal.
So if she is attached to the car, would it not be worth looking into an aftermarket warranty or maintenance plan?
I don't know if
Your
Alina
opinion?
is from here and whether the aftermarket,
She's from Namibia.
yeah, she's whether whether they sell, I don't know. I stand in correction. Whether aftermarket maintenance plans are available there, or she's going to purchase one here and
But
utilize
if they are, it's an option.
It's an option.
It is
And
one
even
way.
that only covers you for a portion, though.
Yeah.
It never gives you 100% cover.
So,
Yeah, but it'll still be less than if she had to lay out another 90 grand in a couple of weeks' time.
obviously, we don't know what she spent 90,000 rand on, but that is a lot of money to spend on a car in terms of maintenance. To me, that would be like, hang on a sec, you're spending a lot of money on this car. There's either some issues or you've got a dud there. The other option is where you're taking it for repairs, because I know some of the dealerships can charge you an absolute fortune and change a lot of components that don't necessarily need repair.
changing, yeah.
What I would suggest you do, being a Mercedes, look for an aftermarket Mercedes specialist. I'm sure they'll be in Namibia somewhere.
Yeah.
You'll find somebody. And you'll most probably knock a good 30-40% off your maintenance costs. So that helps. But when you're spending that kind of money on a regular basis on the car, it's time to move on and buy another vehicle. Because
Yeah, and
what actually happens is that car, Siggy, is also, it's depreciating. As you go along, it's getting worth less and less and less and less. And cars like GLCs, or not only Mercedes, but any of their equivalent competitors, have the same problem. They depreciate drastically, and they go down and down and down to eventually when they're worth literally nothing. A GC, am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
you know, and this thing about she believes if she spends every month what she would on paying an installment of a new car,
Might
that
as well buy a new car.
that just doesn't make sense
Buy a new car, then you don't have the headache of
maintaining it.
Trying to calculate.
Yeah.
Because one day something will go really bad on that car, and it's going to be uneconomical to repair, and then you got a big problem. You've got a paperweight on your hands, which you've got to get rid of, and you've got to go buy a new car.
Door stopper. This will use as door stopper.
Door stop.
Yeah.
All right.
And with that, we've come to the end of this week's show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us and all that useful advice. Thank you very much.
Thanks, gentlemen. Until next time, please buckle up, stay safe on the roads, and don't drive like a chop.